Algebra class, it's Miss Odell, and today is Tuesday, May the 4th. So I've decided what we're going to do today is we are going to review what we did yesterday. And we're going to do that by going over the answers to the problems that you had to complete, which was page 231, problems 2 through 14 even. Excuse me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and work these problems. And then I want you to check them with your answers and see how you did. Of course, you should have shown your work, so you shouldn't have any problems with finding your mistakes. All right? And then I'm going to do a couple other extra practice problems, and then you have a short assignment that is posted on LMS for you to complete. Okay? It's not in your book. So our first step, you remember yesterday we talked about, is to find each, is to factor each term in the polynomial. And in that, we are doing that to find the greatest common factor. Now, number 2 is easy. So we have term 3y and 3. So technically, our only factors here are 3. So easy, and they are in common. So remember, you take that 3, you put it on the outside. No, back up here. You take that 3 and you divide every term by 3. That cancels. And that cancels, which becomes a 1, because 3 divided by 3 is 1. So then you put your 3 on the outside of the parentheses, and then you put your factored answer on the inside. So your answer should be 3 times y minus 1. Now, let's go ahead and do number 4. So the greatest, our factors of 9 are 3 times 3. Our factors of 3a is 3 times a. We only have a 3 in common. So our answer here is 3. And then you take your terms and you're going to divide every term by your greatest common factor, which is 3. Okay, so 9 divided by 3 is 3 minus a or 1a. And then you take your greatest common factor that you divided and you put it on the outside of your answer. So it is 3 times 3 minus a. Check your answers. Let's move on to 6. It gets a little harder here. So we have 3 terms. We have 8x to the third equals 7x squared equals and 3x. Okay? So our prime factors for 8 are 2 times 2 times 2 x to the third. And then our prime factors here are 7 times x squared, 3 times x. We only have one variable that we have in common with all 3 terms, and that is simply x. So our greatest common factor for these terms are x. Now, I'm going to rewrite my original problem because I'm going to divide it by my greatest common factor, which is x. Okay, so x3 minus x1 would be 8x squared, 7x minus 3. And then you take that equation, you put parentheses around it, and bring down your greatest common factor. And this is your answer. Okay? Number 8, let's look at this one together. So we have 12x to the third equals 10x squared equals and 4x. All right? So our factors for 12, of course you can do your prime factors to find those, but we know that if it's 2 times 6 is 12, and then 2 times 3, so it'd be 2 times 2 times 3, x to the third, 2 times 5, x squared, and 2 times 2x. In this case, we have a 2. And then when we look at our variables, we also have 1x. So 2x is our greatest common factor. Now we take our original problem, 12x to the third minus 10x squared plus 4x. And then I'm going to divide every term by 2x. Okay? 12 divided by 2 is 6. X to the third minus x to the first would be x squared. Minus 10 divided by 2 is 5x. Plus 2. I'm going to put parentheses around my answer and bring down my greatest common factor. And that is your answer. All right, so number 10, we have 5a squared, b squared, and 20, ab to the third. So we have 5 times a squared times b squared, 2 times 2 times 5, actually that's 5 times a times b to the third. Okay, so I didn't leave enough room here because I wrote bigger. But when you see here you have a 5, you have 1a in common, and you have b squared common. Okay, that's your greatest common factor. Now let's take our original expression, actually, because it doesn't have an equal sign. Going to divide both sides by 5ab squared. Cancels. That leaves you with a plus 20 divided by 4. 5 is 4. That cancels, and that leaves you with b. Put parentheses around, bring your 5ab squared, and that's your answer. Okay? Number 12. Your answer here, you have ax squared, 2ax, and 3a. So you have a times x squared, 2 times a times x, 3 times a. You only have one thing in common here, and that is a. Take your original equation, ax squared plus 2ax plus 3a. You divide every term by a, not 3 like I just put. Cancels. You're going to have x squared. Bring down your plus sign. 2x, because this cancels, plus 3. Now, you've got your original equation. Not your original equation, but your new expression. You bring down your greatest common factor here in front of your parentheses, and that is your answer. All right, number 14. A little harder, but that's okay. So we have 6x to the third, y squared z. 3x y z to the third. So 2 times 3 are the prime factors of 6 times x to the third times y squared times z. 3 times x times y times z to the third. We do have a 3 in common. We have 1x, 1y, and 1z. So 3xyz. Let's take our original equation, 6x to the third, y squared z minus 3xyz to the third. We're going to divide them both. Okay, 6 divided by 3 is 2. x3, x cubed minus x1 would be x squared. y2 minus y1 would be y, and your z cancels. 3 divided by 3 is 1. If you put 1 there, I would not mark it wrong. Otherwise, you can leave it out. X cancels. y cancels, and you have a z left, squared. Then you bring your greatest common factor down, 3x, y, z, and that is your answer. Let's do a couple more here, and then I'm going to let you loose on your assignment. Okay, these are not in your book, so we're going to work on these together. So first of all, I'm going to do my greatest common factor. Okay, so the prime factors of 18 are 2 times 3 times 3, x to the 6th. 12 are 2 times 2 times 3, x to the 3rd. So we have a set of 2's and we have a set of 3's. So 2 times 3 times x to the 3rd, which makes it 6x to the 3rd. All right? We're actually not going to do this one because I think that might be on there, but we're definitely going to do this one. All right, so now let's take 18 x to the 6th power plus 12x to the 3rd power. Divide both by 6x to the 3rd power, 6x to the 3rd power. 18 divided by 6 is 3. Minus 3 is 3, plus 12 divided by 6 is 2. And x to the 3rd power cancels. Put parentheses around. Bring your greatest common factor down and put it in front of your new expression. Now, there you have it. I'm willing to do a Zoom call. If you guys need additional help, please just send me a message and I'll be happy to do that. Complete your assignment, turn it in on LMS.